emptiness. It is intensity, not silence without feeling, not distance without meaning. This feels like a heart that has tried to stay quiet, while the emotions inside it kept growing louder. And the louder those feelings became, the more this person may have started thinking about one thing over and over again, reaching out to you. The first card appearing here is the Page of Swords. This card tells me attention is active, very active. This person may be watching from a distance, checking little things, noticing more than they admit, and staying mentally tied to your energy even when they try to act normal on the outside. The Page of Swords is curiosity mixed with attachment. It is someone who keeps saying to themselves, I'm just wondering, when the truth is that they are much more emotionally invested than they are comfortable admitting. So if you have felt like this person is still tuned into you somehow, the cards say that feeling may be right. The next card appearing here is the Four of Cups. Now this is where people can get confused. Because the Four of Cups can look like disinterest when viewed from the outside, it can look like someone being quiet, withdrawn, emotionally unavailable, or hard to read. But in this reading, it does not feel like emptiness. It feels like someone who is overwhelmed by their own feelings and does not know how to move naturally with them. They may think about you, then stop themselves. Feel the urge to reach out, then pull back, replay the connection, then act like none of it matters, but it does matter. The next card appearing here is the Devil. This card does not come in gently. It says obsession is part of the story. This person may be thinking about you far more than they expected to. They may feel pulled toward your energy at odd times. They may replay your words, your pictures, your name, your presence, and their own unfinished impulses around you. The Devil here does not only mean desire, it means fixation, the kind of emotional and mental attachment that keeps returning, even when a person tells themselves they should calm down. So if you have been wondering whether they are still caught up on you, yes, very possibly, more than they want anyone to know. The next card appearing here is the Knight of Cups. And this changes everything, because obsession alone can stay hidden for a long time. But the Knight of Cups is the part of the heart that wants movement. It wants to say something, it wants to soften, it wants to stop circling the feeling and actually move toward the person who caused it. So this person may already be imagining the message, thinking about what to say, wondering how to begin, wondering whether they should keep it casual, or whether the emotion would show too obviously the moment contact begins. The next card appearing here is the Moon. This tells me they are still hiding a lot, not because the feeling is weak, but because it is stronger than they know how to manage cleanly. The Moon says there may be fear here, fear of rejection, fear of looking too eager, fear of exposing how much they still care, fear that once they open the door, all the hidden feeling may come rushing out behind it. So yes, they may be obsessed with the idea of reaching out, but they may also be terrified of what that would reveal about them. The next card appearing here is the Six of Cups, and this is the tenderness underneath everything, because the obsession is not cold. It is not purely ego. It is not just physical curiosity. This person may genuinely miss you, miss your energy, miss how the connection felt, miss the little things that seemed simple at the time but now live in memory like something precious. The Six of Cups says your emotional imprint stayed with them. And when an emotional imprint stays that strongly, the heart rarely lets go quietly. The final card appearing here is the Ace of Cups. This is the clearest answer in the whole reading. The feeling is alive, not dead, not fading. Aleve in the message of this reading becomes very clear. If you think this person is not in love with you, think again, because the cards are showing someone whose feelings may be much deeper than their behavior has revealed. Someone whose mind keeps moving toward you. Someone whose heart is becoming more and more preoccupied with the idea of reaching out. There is one more layer here too. Part of what makes this so intense is that they may not only want contact, they may want relief from the emotional buildup, relief from wondering. And that is why the urge to reach out feels stronger now. Because at some point, silence stops protecting the heart and starts pressuring it. And this person may be getting very close to that point now. A second wave moves through this reading, and it feels even more revealing, because this is where longing stops looking random and starts looking deliberate. This person is not only thinking about reaching out, they may be circling it, planning it, imagining it, starting a message. then stopping feeling the pull, then trying to act calm. And the more they try to quiet the urge, the more it seems to come back. The first card appearing here is the Two of Wands. This card shows someone standing at an inner doorway. One side of them wants to stay where it is safe, quiet, unrevealed, protected. The other side keeps leaning toward movement, toward contact. Towered the possibility of hearing your voice, seeing your name light up the screen, feeling the connection breathe again. The Two of Wands says they are not emotionally finished. They are deciding, and that decision may be getting harder to postpone. The next card appearing here is the Eight of Swords. This card shows mental looping. Too many thoughts, too many imagined outcomes, too many private questions. What if they reach out and it changes everything? What if you answer and all the hidden feeling comes rushing back? What if you do not answer and they have to face how much this still matters? The Eight of Swords says the heart wants movement, but the mind keeps wrapping that desire in fear. So yes, they may be obsessing over reaching out while also trapping themselves in hesitation. The next card appearing here is the Hermit. Now we see why so much of this has stayed hidden. The Hermit is private emotion, private reflection, a person who feels deeply but tries to process alone before stepping into the light. This person may be spending a lot of quiet time with your energy, thinking about what happened, thinking about what was left unsaid, thinking about whether the connection still has a pulse or whether they only imagine that it does. But the Hermit does not erase feeling, it deepens it. The more they sit with their truth, the more they may realize they are not over you at all. The next card appearing here is the Knight of Cups. This card is important because it shows that the emotional impulse is still moving towards you, not away. The Knight of Cups is the heart that wants to speak, the heart that wants a bridge instead of a wall, the heart that wants honesty, even if honesty feels vulnerable. So if this person reaches out, it may not come from cold curiosity, it may come from softness, longing, a real wish to reconnect in a sincere way. The next card appearing here is the Nine of Cups. This card says your energy still feels emotionally good to them. Thinking about you may still brighten them, soften them, lift something in them they cannot easily replace anywhere else. And that matters because people do not obsess over reaching out to someone who feels empty in their heart. They obsess when the connection still carries warmth, when the memory still feels alive, when the person still feels emotionally significant. The next card appearing here is the Page of Swords. This confirms the watching again, not always in a dramatic way. Sometimes quietly, sometimes through small details, sometimes just through wondering what you are doing, how you are feeling, whether you still think of them too. The Page of Swords is restless attention, and restless attention usually means the bond is still active. The final card appearing here is the Ace of Cups. This card closes the message with truth. The feeling is alive, the love is not gone. And the urge to reach out is not random. It is rising from a heart that has not finished with you. So the message of this part becomes very clear. If you think they are fine, think again. If you think they forgot, think again. If you think the silence means they do not care, think again. Because the cards are showing someone who may be emotionally circling your energy more than ever and feeling more pressure around reaching out than they have admitted to anyone. There is one more layer here too. Part of what makes this so intense is that they may already know the message would not be casual once it starts. Even if the first words are small, the emotional truth behind them may be huge, and that is why they hesitate. Not because the feeling is weak, but because it is strong enough to change the atmosphere the moment they let it breathe. So even now, while they stay quiet, the urge is building, and once longing becomes stronger than fear, reaching out stops feeling optional and starts feeling inevitable, because your energy may still live in them like an unfinished sentence, a feeling that keeps returning, asking for contact, asking for one opening, so the heart can finally stop wondering and start knowing whether this bond still lives between you. In the same way, a quieter ache begins speaking here, and this part feels even more intimate because the cards are no longer only showing that they think about reaching out. They are showing what happens inside them before they do. The first card appearing here is the Six of Cups. This card says your energy still lives in them through memory, not cold memory, not faded memory, warm memory, the kind that returns unexpectedly. A laugh, a sentence, a look. The feeling of ease that once existed between you, the Six of Cups is emotional imprint. It says your presence did not pass through them lightly, it stayed. And because it stayed, it keeps softening them in private moments when they are trying to act unaffected. The next card appearing here is the Four of Cups. Now we see why the outside can look so quiet. This card often looks like disinterest, but in this reading it feels more like emotional overload. They may be feeling so much that they do not know how to move naturally. So they pause, they stare at the idea of reaching out, they imagine it, then they pull back again. Not because they do not care, because they care enough that the wrong move feels heavy. The next card appearing here is the Devil. This is where the intensity sharpens because what they feel is not only sweet, it is obsessive too. Your name may return to their mind at random times. Your image may stay with them longer than they want to admit. The urge to contact you may feel almost physical some days, like a pressure sitting in the chest, asking for release. The Devil here is fixation, not empty obsession, emotional obsession. The kind that keeps someone circling the same person, the same memory, the same unopened message, again and again. The next card appearing here is the High Priestess. This tells me they are hiding a lot, more than anyone would guess. The High Priestess is silence with depth under it, a person who reveals very little while carrying a whole world inside. So this person may not be talking openly about how much they still feel. They may not be telling others how often your energy returns. They may not be admitting how close they get to reaching out, but the feeling is there, quiet, powerful, growing in the dark. The next card appearing here is the Knight of Cups, and this is where the reading becomes more direct. Because the Knight of Cups is the emotional messenger, the one who wants to move toward love, not away from it, the one who gets tired of only imagining and starts wanting a real exchange. So if they have stayed silent, this card says silence may be wearing thin. The heart wants motion now, a message, a soft opening, a chance to test whether the bond still responds when touched gently. The next card appearing here is the Moon. Yes, fear is still here. Fear of rejection, fear of awkwardness. Fear that once they open the door, all the hidden feeling will rush through behind it. The Moon says the inner world is not settled. There are nerves, questions, imagined outcomes. But the fear does not cancel the longing. It sits beside it. That is why the energy feels so intense, because part of them wants to move, while another part trembles at the thought. The final card appearing here is the Ace of Wands, and this changes the whole rhythm because the Ace of Wands is impulse spark, the sudden push that says, enough, do something. So the message of this part becomes very clear. They are not only in love, they are not only thinking, they are getting closer to action, closer to the message. Closer to the moment, closer to letting all this private emotional pressure turn into one real attempt to reach you. There is one more layer here too. Part of what keeps the urge so alive is that they may feel your energy as unfinished. Not broken, unfinished. Like the connection still has words in it, still has feeling in it, still has a door that was never fully closed. And because they feel that they may not be able to leave it alone forever, that is why the obsession with reaching out keeps returning, not because they are bored, not because they want attention, because some part of them still believes the heart between you is listening, even through the quiet. And when a person believes that deeply enough, silence eventually stops feeling safe and starts feeling unbearable. They may even be measuring time differently now. A day can feel long when the urge to reach out keeps returning. A simple notification can make the heart jump. A quiet evening can become a whole conversation in their mind, with you at the center of it. And that is the tenderness here. For all the obsession, there is sincerity. For all the fear, there is affection. For all the silence, there is still a heart leaning in your direction, hoping contact might still be possible. It is not fading, it is gathering itself, waiting for one brave, honest moment. And it feels like the moment where the feelings stop being content to live only in imagination, because there is a point in every real connection where missing someone quietly is no longer enough. Thinking of them is no longer enough. Watching from a distance is no longer enough. And this person may be getting very close to that point now. The first card appearing here is the Chariot. This card brings movement, decision, forward pull. The Chariot appears when the heart begins pushing harder than hesitation. So even though this person may still be shy, still uncertain, still overthinking, another force is rising inside them now. The need to do something, not someday, not when every fear is gone, something, a message, a sign, an opening. Anything that moves the energy closer to you instead of leaving it trapped inside them. The next card appearing here is the Two of Cups. This is beautiful because it says the reason they cannot settle into silence is simple. The bond still feels real to them. Not in memory only, not in fantasy only. Real, the Two of Cups is emotional recognition. It is the feeling that what exists between two people has heart in it, meaning in it, life in it. So when this person thinks about you, they may not feel like they are reaching towards something empty. They may feel like they are reaching towards someone who still matters deeply. The next card appearing here is the Nine of Swords. Now we see the pressure, because longing may be growing, but so is nervousness. The mind may still be working overtime. What if they say too much? What if they open the door and everything rushes out? What if your reply reveals distance where they were hoping for warmth? The Nine of Swords is not indifference. It is a person who cares enough that the possibility of contact keeps them mentally restless, and that restlessness can become exhausting. The next card appearing here is the Page of Cups. This tells me the first reach may still be gentle, soft, careful. This person may not come in with a huge confession immediately. They may begin with a simple message, a sweet question, a small emotional thread thrown in your direction to see whether the connection still answers back. Because the Page of Cups is shy honesty. It is the heart trying to show itself without scaring itself away. The next card appearing here is the Star. This card is so loving here because it says hope is still alive. Even through overthinking, even through silence, even through all the time they may have spent wondering instead of speaking, the Star is what remains when the heart still believes something beautiful could happen. Not guaranteed, not forced, but possible. So if they are obsessing over reaching out, part of the reason is that they may still feel hope around you, hope that the bond is not gone, hope that you might still respond with softness, hope that the connection may still have healing in it. The next card appearing here is the Knight of Cups, and now the message becomes stronger. Because the Knight of Cups does not want to stay hidden forever. It wants to cross the distance with feeling. It wants to speak. It wants to place what is in the heart into the world and see what happens when honesty finally breathes. This person may already be imagining the words, rewriting them, deleting them, starting again. Because once the urge reaches this level, silence becomes harder to maintain. The final card appearing here is the Ace of Cups. This is the overflow. The heart is not empty. The love is not fading. The urge is not random. The Ace of Cups says the feelings are rising and they want expression. So the message of this part becomes very clear. If you think they are simply quiet and over it, think again. They may be standing right at the edge of doing something, right at the edge of letting the emotion move, right at the edge of turning all this hidden longing into one real act of contact. There is one more layer here too. Part of what makes the urge so strong now is that they may already feel your absence emotionally. Not just mentally, the silence may have started to feel physical to them. A space where your energy should be, a gap where connection used to breathe. And once someone begins feeling absence that deeply, reaching out stops feeling like a random idea. It starts feeling necessary. That is why the cards feel so alive here. Because this person is no longer only carrying love in secret. They are getting closer to the point where the heart says, enough hiding, enough circling, enough pretending this does not matter. Say something, and when that inner voice becomes loud enough, the message may finally come because love kept quiet too long. It stops whispering. It begins knocking, and right now their heart may already be standing at your door. A sweeter pressure gathers here, and this part feels like the heart is no longer asking whether it should reach out. It is asking how much longer it can keep pretending not to want to, because there is a difference between a passing urge and a feeling that keeps returning with intention. And the cards now are showing intention, not loud yet, not fully acted on yet, but very present. The first card appearing here is the Four of Wands. This card says that when this person imagines contact with you, it is not only about getting a reply, it is about getting a feeling back, warmth, ease, relief. The Four of Wands carries reunion energy, emotional homecoming. The sweetness of being able to stand in the same space again and feel the connection breathe without all this distance around it. So when they think about reaching out, they may not be imagining a random conversation. They may be imagining peace. The next card appearing here is the Eight of Pentacles. This card tells me the thought of contacting you is not disappearing after a few minutes. It is being worked on, revisited, turned over in the mind. They may keep refining the message in their head, wondering what tone to use, what words will feel natural, how much to reveal, how little to hide. The Eight of Pentacles is repeated effort. So the urge may now be becoming a project in their heart. The next card appearing here is the Queen of Cups. This says the emotional core of all this is soft, loving, genuine. They may not only want your attention, they may want emotional closeness, the feeling of being met by your heart again. The Queen of Cups says your energy may still feel deeply comforting to them, almost like the heart remembers your presence as a place where it could soften safely, and that memory can become very hard to ignore. The next card appearing here is the Page of Wands. Now the energy gets restless, curious, a little impatient. The Page of Wands wants to break silence, test the atmosphere, spark something back into life. So this person may be having moments where they almost act right away, almost send it, almost say something, almost risk the little opening that could change everything. That almost keeps showing up strongly. The next card appearing here is the Moon. And this reminds us that fear is still wrapped around the longing. They may still worry about timing, about your reaction, about whether too much has gone unsaid for too long. The Moon says some part of them still feels uncertain, walking through emotional darkness without knowing exactly what waits on the other side. But uncertainty is not stopping the feeling. It is only slowing the delivery. The next card appearing here is the Sunday. This is beautiful because it says that underneath all the nerves, the reason they want to reach out is simple. You still feel bright to them. Your energy may still bring warmth into their inner world. Thinking about you may still create softness, relief, even joy. And when someone still feels joy connected to another person after time and silence, that is not nothing. That is the heart keeping a door open. The final card appearing here is the Ace of Swords. This card says clarity is getting stronger now. The truth is becoming more difficult for them to ignore. They miss you. They want contact. They are obsessing over reaching out because the bond still matters and because pretending otherwise is exhausting. So the message of this part becomes very clear. This person is getting closer to action. Closer to the message, closer to the risk, closer to the one honest moment where hidden feeling becomes direct. And there is one more layer here. Part of what may finally move them is the realization that silence has not protected them from feeling more. It has only made the feeling echo louder. It has only made the imagination work harder. It has only turned one unsent message into many versions of the same confession, because the heart is no longer asking whether you matter. It knows you do. Now it is trying to find the courage, the timing, the words to act like that truth is real. And when that process reaches its tipping point, the contact may come much faster than it looked like it would from the outside. Because once longing becomes clear enough, it stops waiting for perfect certainty. It starts reaching, and this heart may be very close to that now. They may still pause. Yes, they may still reread every line. Yes, but the energy here says the silence is beginning to feel more frightening than honesty. That is when messages get sent. That is when the heart stops rehearsing and finally speaks. And even if the first words are simple, the emotion behind them may be far deeper than the message itself lets on at first, because sometimes one small reach carries a whole hidden love story behind it. That may be exactly what is building here right now. Everything gathers here, and the final truth of this reading feels impossible to miss. If you think this person has stopped feeling, the cards say no. If you think silence means the love faded, the cards say no. If you think the distance erased the bond, the cards say no. What is happening here is deeper than that. The first card appearing here is the Two of Cups. This card says the connection still lives. Not as memory only, not as fantasy only. It still lives. The Two of Cups is mutual recognition, emotional meaning, the feeling that another soul still matters in a very present way. So when this person thinks about you now, they may not only remember what was, they may still feel what is. That is why your energy has not gone quiet inside them, even if their behavior has been restrained. The next card appearing here is the Hermit. This explains the silence. The Hermit is not emptiness. It is private feeling, private reflection. A person going inward because what they feel has become too real to handle carelessly. So this person may have spent more time than you realize sitting with your memory, your name, your energy, and the unfinished ache of not reaching out. They may have tried to stay composed, tried to make peace with distance, tried to act as if the heart would quiet down on its own, but the cards say it has not. The next card appearing here is the Knight of Cups. And this is important because the heart is not only feeling, it is leaning toward contact, leaning toward honesty, leaning toward the one message that could change the atmosphere between you. The Knight of Cups is the card of emotional movement. So even if fear is still there, and even if this person still hesitates, the deeper truth is that love wants expression now, not forever hidden, not forever rehearsed expression. The next card appearing here is the Nine of Cups. This is beautiful because it says your energy still brings warmth into their heart. Thinking about you may still soften them, still lift them, still make something inside them feel more alive. And that matters because people do not obsess over reaching out to someone who feels emotionally empty to them. They obsess when the connection still feels good, still feels meaningful, still feels like something the heart wants to return to. The next card appearing here is the Moon. Yes, fear is still part of the story. Fear of being too obvious, fear of saying too much, fear of your response, fear of discovering that the longing is even deeper in real contact than it has been in silence. But the Moon does not cancel love. It only tells us love has been hiding in places where it could grow stronger without being seen. The next card appearing here is the Ace of Cups. This is the overflow. The feeling is alive. The feeling is rising. The feeling is becoming too full to stay safely tucked away behind distance and delay. The Ace of Cups says the heart is reaching the point where it no longer wants to protect itself by staying quiet. It wants to feel, to speak, to offer, to know. And the final card appearing here is the Sunday. This is the clear truth. The truth is that this person is not over you, not uninterested, not emotionally absent. They are affected. They are longing. They are still carrying a living warmth for you. And that warmth may now be turning into courage. So the message of this final part becomes very clear. If you think this person is not in love with you, think again, because the cards are showing someone whose silence has not erased the feeling. It has intensified it. Someone whose distance has not created emotional emptiness. It has made the heart louder in private. Someone who may be obsessing over reaching out because the bond still matters too much to keep pretending it does not. There is one final layer here, and it feels very tender. Sometimes a person stays quiet not because the feeling is weak, but because it is strong enough to scare them, strong enough to change the air the moment they say one honest thing, strong enough to make a simple message carry far more than words usually hold. That is what this feels like. A heart standing at the edge of contact, a heart full of love, a heart still nervous, but no longer able to lie to itself about what it wants. And what it wants is you, because even now, while they try to hold themselves still, your name may keep returning at the quietest times, in the pause before sleep, in the middle of the day, in the sudden ache to know if you still feel the thread. And that is not casual emotion. That is a heart that never truly stepped away, only waited too long to speak. Thank you so much for watching and for sharing this reading with me. If this message found you at the right moment, please like, share, and subscribe. Take gentle care of your heart, and I will see you in the next reading. Everything gathers here, and the final truth of this reading feels impossible to miss. If you think this person has stopped feeling, the cards say no. If you think silence means the love faded, the cards say no. If you think the distance erased the bond, the cards say no.